welcome to week 3. I wanted to start this week by reflecting on last week and the work that you guys did for Project 2. I argued last week that there are many creative processes, and you all illustrated this incredibly well. Some of you were more literal in representing your creative processes, like these two artists. And some of you were more conceptual, like this author, who illustrated her creative process conceptually, liking it to a tree. And this author, who created an image collage anchored to the need to move beyond feeling like she's not creative. Some of you were brilliant in your uses of the prompt, like this author, who created her representation with toothpaste. And some fantastic creativity advice emerged from your work. One creator said that she has to remember that she's doing something she loves and enjoys, and suggests that, quote, using your creativity and exploring your creative process shouldn't be a burdensome task. It's about finding out little bits and pieces of yourself. Another creator included this piece of advice: don't be delicate, be vast and brilliant. And another noted that, like toothpaste, my mind can be sticky sometimes. So overall, fantastic work for Project 2. What I am going to be looking for more and more in your upcoming work are explicit links to, quotes from, and anchors to the reading we're doing. Some of you did a great job of this in Project 2, including quotes from Jay-Z, or noting how your creative process was similar to that of the Swiffer engineers that Laher talked about. The focus for this week is on interviewing and representing the creative approaches of others. So for Project 3, you're going to choose someone who inspires you or who you think is particularly creative or innovative. Our first reading for this week is a chapter by Tina Seelig called Spark a Revolution. In it, Seelig talks about shifting your vantage point and shifting your perspective and learning to look and think differently. Connected to her chapter is a creativity case, a short film from 1977 called Powers of 10. To think about where others find sources of inspiration, invention, and creativity, next you guys are going to read a few pieces that report on interviews with creatives. First, there's a link to 9 different interviews. You don't have to read all of them. Some are pretty long. Skim the overviews of all 9, and then pick one to read closely and in-depth. Then I've linked to another interview with an information and graphic designer called Frank Chimero, in which he talks about his creative and designerly processes, and the interview is full of great examples and ideas. The third reading for this coming week is made up of excerpts from a book called Inspiration Equals Ideas. What you guys are going to be reading are excerpts from the book. Essentially the list of creativity sources that people talk about as their go-to spots for creativity and innovation. And some of the artists mention coffee shops, some mention flea markets, some mention particular TV shows. It's interesting to see the places where creatives go to get their creative juices flowing. Moving into the creativity cases, the first is of Chris Jordan, an amazing artist who makes fantastic work and fantastic arguments with his work. You'll be watching a Bill Moyers interview with Jordan. A second creativity case is that of Alexander Mcqueen, who died in 2010 but was one of the most provocative, well-known, and innovative fashion designers ever. You're going to read the last interview conducted with him before his death, read some of his most famous quotes, and you're going to explore an exhibit of his work that was housed at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. Then there are also 3 cool creativity sparks that round out this week's materials. The materials from this week should give you guys some models for how interviews can be represented and written up, which is what you're going to be doing for Project 3. You're going to want to figure out who you're going to interview and set that interview up as soon as possible. Don't wait until a Thursday or Friday to touch base with someone and try to set up the interview and then cram the interview in and try to get the assignment done by Saturday at noon. Even if your interviewee is your mom, set it up now. You'll want time to schedule the interview, write your questions, conduct the interview, write up the interview results, and then draft and revise your article. The product of Project 3 is a short article-style piece reporting on your interview. You're going to create a creativity profile of the person that you interviewed. You'll want to introduce them, describe some of their processes and approaches, review and explain some of their work, and conclude by describing what you learned about creativity through the interview. You can include photos, graphics, samples, examples, and materials that help you show and profile the person and their creativity. I've posted the full assignment to week 3 on Angel, along with a couple of sample articles that do a good job showcasing what I'm looking for from your work. So that's our work and focus for week 3. As usual, don't be shy. Let me know if you have any questions about the materials or setting up or conducting the interview. Happy creating, happy writing, happy interviewing, happy week 3.